Now, freight train, baby. Freight train is coming. Matt, it seems to me that the market loves the fact that there's inflation, but it is seemingly not accelerating. I don't know. Either that or market dynamic on.
Well, Bob, it's only 8.5%. They were expecting 9.2. So it's all about setting the number higher.
Yes, because it's
so you can beat.
Wait a second. The rally has way more to do, I think, with the continued squeeze.
Yeah.
Before we go to the squeeze,
again, there's a reason why you don't short into this number when you know they're going to take it higher. You should be long, and then you got a 330-point gain, but barely new highs. So, matter of fact, the Nasdaq hasn't even made new highs. It's hard for me to get too excited about it here, buddy.
Let me ask you a question. So, in this trade setup, are you waiting for the first sign of weakness to jump short?
No, it's more of a time. Again, I've been looking for the middle of the month, the second half of the month. I think this thing is going to see a sell-off because now everybody's on board. Everybody's long now. Everybody's long. There's no doubt everybody's long.
So you're waiting on a time cycle.
I've been waiting for the middle of the month. I said August 15th for the last 2 weeks. And
that is definitely next Monday.
Next Monday. Yeah.
August 15th.
And let's look realistically. Okay. We opened on the Nasdaq today at 13, let's call it 340, and we're at 354, Bob. So yeah, it's exciting. Since the open, we're up 15 points. It's hard to get too excited.
Matt, bring up our favorite sports personality suffering a little bit of problems.
No, I want to start. Let's start with some, good news for the Northwest baseball fans last night. With their team trying to make the playoffs, right? For the first, they've never been to the World Series, and they're all excited this year because they finally had a run. And last night they topped the Yanks, and just like whenever anybody beats Notre Dame, I'm excited. So I'm happy for the Seattle Seahawks. But what was interesting about this 0-0, 1-0 walk-off run in the bottom of the 13th is this is the first time we've had a 0-0 game now since 2019 and extra innings this long, the 13th inning. And the reason I bring this up is there's a new rule. And you even said new rule. What's the new rule? Is there
Yeah, I didn't remember it, but now that you put on, and it's important to talk about this because we got a couple other things to talk about: the structure of the market, timing. Yeah. Because these are, they put them in on second.
This is also structure of gambling in baseball now, because with a man on second, every team puts a man on second when you start to bat. So now the pitcher's job, right? It's already hard to be a reliever, and you're only going for a batter or two or an inning, right? Now you really have the pressure on because there's a guy in scoring position immediately. You start pitching, and there's a guy on second, and a broken bat single, the guy scores, and the game could be over, right? So I think it's fun. And again, they said, this article here, they said, the Mariners coach said this was one of the best games I've ever watched because the pitching was amazing, and I bet it was. Because if you're putting a guy on second for, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and the 9th was probably equally fun. So you had 5 innings probably where it was like playoff baseball. And that's why I want to bring it up. I don't watch baseball this time of year. Unless you're a Mariners fan, I would have not watched that game. And I had some friends that were pinging me enjoying the game. They said it was a great game. So happy for the Mariners fans. And, anytime the Yankees lose, and they had to be tired because the Yankees just flew out west, right? So it had to be like 3 a.m. their time by the time this game got over. I mean, They had to be exhausted. I don't care who you are. Even flying on a nice plane doesn't make that travel easy for you. So
no, and the body clock for sure.
Yeah,
no bueno.
Exactly. So those guys are still sleeping up in Seattle for the next game today. So congratulations.
All right, man, listen, let's do me a favor because the inflation number. The stock market obviously has rallied tremendously, but the one that got hit the most or affected the most, I think, is the dollar index. Mm-hmm. Let's look at that because we always talk about markets that are broken
Yep.
And I want your opinion on where you think this dollar.
Well,
rally
nothing's
is
changed. I
broken.
think, a matter of fact, we should
Bring it up for a second, though.
Yeah, we didn't talk about this pregame, but I wanted to talk about it. And I think 104 has been that number. 105 was like the first number, but really the level's still 104. And so this is going to look scary for the really short-term chartists out there. But I think the big picture is, this is like, if you're looking for the opportunity to buy the dollar, again, I think this is probably going to be your opportunity. So,
okay, well, bring it up.
I'm just trying. I'm trying to get it ready. I didn't have it ready, so give me a minute.
Oh, always be ready, Matt. Always be ready.
Well, but we didn't talk about it. So, anyways, 109s again, and look where we are, right back to the breakout area, 104.50. We talked about this. So, again, we've mentioned these levels before, and if you're looking for an area, really, for me, it's down to this. And once a weekly closes below 103.90, I got to say you're probably going to be wrong, right? Somewhere in there. But right now,
a very interesting level too, because especially you said you don't trade monthlies. I agree, but let me share the monthly because I think it's important to understand where the potentials are. So you have 103.90. The monthly momentum level is 103.30, 103.33. The interesting thing here is how much potential is in this chart now.
Yeah,
because you could actually go trade 98 over the next several months, or this is going to keep coming up, and it'll probably be in the same area. Right. There's plenty of potential for retracement here, and we haven't had the retracement in the dollar like we've had in the bear market and in the stock market.
No, because the market, with the dollar up, that's why we're in a bear market. So this is the indicator. Like if you really want to be bullish, you want this chart to break. If you're bullish,
you want not only to break.
If you're bullish equities, you want this chart to break, and then all hell goes loose, and we go spiraling inflation, and that means markets go up too. And again, rinse and repeat. It doesn't end well. However, it doesn't end well.
Never ends well. All right, Matt. Let's continue.
But that's interesting because to me that just tells you, we got frothy to the upside, and we were oversold in equities, and that's all we're doing is working that off. That chart doesn't tell me anything differently.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
And we've been going, and the thing about that dollar chart is that's a two-year bull market. All those monthly, bring that back up again, because
right on.
We're not talking about 6 weeks like we
are. No. And we've been talking about it for 2 years. You're right, because February and then a double bottom of May of 21.
Yes.
And kind of back to my point here, when they made this run in 15, it was several months, almost a year before they bottomed down here, and then they made another big run. That's all I'm saying here is you can have a major retracement, right? Let's go back to par, $1.98. Everybody's like, oh, the dollar it's done. The dollar's done. And then another rip your face off back to that 120 level.
Right.
Over time, right? This is over time. This is over the next year or two that we're talking about this playing out.
Yeah,
and
again,
you're right.
The bottom line is this is a very bullish chart. And what I would like you to do now, since you want to talk about monthlies and you want to talk about the SPOOs, why don't you bring that up on the SPOOs and show us, because we've got 1 month of bullish activity now on the SPOOs. Okay, so let's take a look at that chart.
Well, I got to go to the SPOO, but it's got to be the continuation chart, obviously, on a monthly. And hold on. I know I got it here. Son of a bitch.
Alphabetize.
You tell me.
Alphabetize.
I fucking hate alphabetization. All right,
Why?
SPOOs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I wanted to bring it up because this is a big rip back. And for me, that monthly average at 43.33 this month, for me, if you're a bear, that's a pretty big line in the sand that this market should not recapture.
And I would suggest to you that your dollar what was the dollar version of that number?
103.33 and then room down to 98.
Right, but 103.33 probably would match up with that 43.33 is all I'm saying. I don't think.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I don't think we're going to see 103.33 is all I'm saying.
Okay,
you do. I don't.
Here, it's not whether I do or not. But
the potentiality.
But
I want to make this clear. Like I would love to sell it at those levels. Great, get it there. I'd love to sell it. And another, you know, and another 130 points from here is only 3% after we've gone 25. So go for it. I mean, we can have another little drift, little smoke a cigarette and it goes a little higher. Big deal. I mean, it really doesn't mean anything.
Kiss me. Kiss me. I'm Irish. All right, Matt. We wanted to talk about, listen, we get content all over the place. And Matt has got his pulse on the content, a lot of it. This was Elon. I got to tell you, the guy's got a good sense of humor. And maybe you don't know, because I didn't know what static fires was and why it would. He's saying me trying to live a normal, productive life like he's angelic. And then there's static fires there. Tempting him away. And static fires was the Starship test of some more of their rocketeering, right? So I pulled it up, and it was a 6.5 hour long video of mostly just the Starship on the pad and then like smoke coming from different places. And then I'm like, wow, yeah. So he's trying to pay attention to everything that he's got in his life, which I'm sure is a lot, his list. And then there's a 6.5 hour video of the testing. I also thought that you could replace static fires, Matt, with retail traders pouring into Tesla, and he's trying not to sell all of his stock at once when that happens. Because
he said he would never be he would always be the last one on the ship, right? Captain, my captain. So much for that.
Bring up Tesla. I know we've looked at it, but he did just dump a giant dollar amount of shares.
Yeah, you know, it was like another 7 million shares for, you know, but again, who can blame the guy? He knows this market's going lower. I mean, he knows the market's going lower. He's no dummy. And so it's like Mark Cuban selling at the top and then becoming a bear. It's the same thing. So, you know, Tesla is in 2000, it was Mark Cuban doing the same thing. And all the Reddit bras weren't around then. You and I were trading in the heart of that stuff. And it was the same thing. I loved Mark Cuban for that. So maybe Elon can buy the Pistons because they're going to be cheap here when they lose again through the whole year. So, and then he'll be, you know, then he'll make Detroit great again. He's got all the infrastructure. Hold on. Hear me out. He can go to Detroit, reopen those plants that have been sitting there dormant because he needs capacity to build all the flux capacitors.
Bingo. Right. Matt, you did share your hope for the Detroit Lions. I didn't bring it up. You brought it up. And Aiden Hutchinson singing to the crew. That's always great.
And doing Billie Jean in a good version. I mean, you saw the crowd, my friend. I mean, those were, you know, they were partying. The team.
They were.
And you know this as being a part of a team, and especially a football team, that type of spirit, especially on a pro level, is rare. Like it's rare.
Let's just be honest.
Practice, because why, Bob? Because practice sucks.
It does.
Training camp sucks. So if you can get that spirit going in training camp, I'm holding out hope for the Lions. Do you have that? Can you bring that up for us real quick?
I can. Where did you share it?
I don't remember.
Don't remember. He doesn't remember.
Yeah. You're the producer. You're the producer.
I'm the producer. Well, we need Lee in the house, and apparently Lee is unavailable.
By the way, we are red for the day again. We opened at 13,340. We're at 326. So I'm just letting you know. Again, we opened at this price, and 3 hours later, we're at the same price. So,
Matt, did I share the cat today already?
No, you did not.
I did not. Let me share that, because sometimes things imitate, right?
Uh-huh.
And I love this video of the cat, and we have one of those machines that vacuum the floor automatically.
The Roombas.
The Roomba, and the cat is like, I've seen this before, and I thought that was the inflation number, right? And the black cat is the Bulls, and they firmly have the Bears locked down, and the Bull is like, we've seen inflation before. Right now, the structure is we are squeezing the living bejeebies out of anybody that was short this market. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. Matt, also here in my feed, son of a bitch, I did it again. I didn't mean to stop sharing. Son of a bitch. Also in my feed, Matt, Mickey Five Pennies asked me if I'm sleeping on. Am I sleeping on? Where the heck is it? Cash hogs have finally traded higher than cash cattle. That does not happen very often. When you think about the input cost to raise a hog and the input cost to raise cattle, one of the reasons why cattle are so much more expensive than hogs in general at the grocery store. So very interesting times here. And I just want to point out, and I keep talking about it, and this morning was an opportunity. Let me come back up here, and I'm going to have to go to a daily. DXY, there's Lee, finally got up. DXY calendar spread in the hogs. And here it is. It looks explosive, yes, but I think it's going to be really hard to get above these levels. And I think it's just a great opportunity. The strength in the hog market right now, making DEES and OC historically high. But the fundamentals of the market aren't going to change as we go through the winter into that Feb winter expiration, Feb hogs. And anywhere near par, between $2 and par, that's an $800 risk per contract. I think it's just a great trade to put on. There's very few of these that I absolutely love. The DEES Feb is one of them. The June, July is another one early in the spring to start dabbling in. Anyway, gave you an opportunity. Traded $2 this morning. I've been talking about it, and I just wanted to bring it up. And with that cash quote, explosive price action in the hags. How about them hogs? All right, Matt, what else do you got? Because I got a couple other things, but I
want to hear you talk. Well, I want to hear you talk a little bit about Bitcoin, because if
you know what, here, hey, Matt, since we're doing the exercise, because I actually did look at it. Let's stay on the monthly, and because again, these levels, it's really clear on the monthly too. If you close your eyes and tell me this is an hourly chart and not a monthly chart, you'd still say this is a bear market. This is 28,604 is the monthly momentum level that they need to recapture and close out of for me to start saying, all right, you know what, maybe the bear market story is coming to a close, but it's really clear to me here. And then Ether is closer to that number, 1941 on Ether. And then the cross.
And by the way, that has doubled. Let's talk. You haven't talked about this. Ether went from 900 to 1900, so it's more than doubled. Okay, in the same time. In the meantime, Bitcoin only went from 17 to 24. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Again, that's this cross, right? And this was 2 months ago. It was 0.05 Ether to the Bitcoin. Now it's 0.07. And I got to tell you, when I looked at this morning, if you are on this cross, if you are long Ether short Bitcoin, and you do not take nearly all of your shekels off the table at 0.088, a double top into a collar, I don't care what time frame it is. When you double, triple top into the collar and you don't take your money, that is for me the definition of a pig.
And you know what, Bob? I think where we are, I was thinking about this, like I was trying to explain why Ethereum is doubled, more than doubled. And it simply comes down to, it's a simple answer for me. And the reason is it was $900 versus 17,000.
Yes. So that's people piling in are like,
that is all it is. It's like, okay, if I'm going to buy something, I'm going to buy, the biggest bang for my buck, and I'm going to risk less. This is just how retail thinks. That's why they buy penny stocks too. It's like, and I say this because this is not a positive thing. Ultimately, this will hurt Ethereum even further. It will go below 900. It'll go to 300, 200, 100, whatever. So,
and again, Matt, if we are wrong on the stock market, then for me, if I'm wrong on the stock market long term, then I'm wrong on this too.
Listen, I think it's
there's
really
another
simple
leg
right
down.
now. If you're not an active, if you're not so active in markets and you're really looking for a good indicator, it's the dollar. That dollar is below 93.30. We're wrong.
103.30. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. 103.30.
103.30. Exactly.
Yeah. It gets below that, then the bear market is off, and the dollar is going to go down, and that totally means that belief in our government is completely over when that happens. So there's a downside to that trade. So just be wary.
Hey, Matt, speaking of elites, I saw this one, and let's bring it up because, what's the thing? Life imitates art, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we've talked about this far and wide, right? That the elites trust each other more and more until they don't. And then there's bloodshed on the street. And I wanted to bring this one up because sports imitate life too. Well, there we go. And this just out from the Mail. Tiger Woods is attacking younger golfers doing the PGA Tour's bidding. Lawsuit documents reveal after he rejected Liv's $800 million offer.
Right.
11 Live golf players filed an antitrust lawsuit against the PGA Tour. The elites in golf, Matt, fully eating each other. Listen, it's like rewind play. No matter what power structure you want to talk about, legacy power structures do whatever they can to protect.
And guess what? Tiger's on top of the pyramid. He's on top of the freaking pyramid. And if you can't read into this, okay, it's interesting because half the story is people saying we can't do business with Arabs, right? Which is interesting. And then you have Pelosi flying over to China and telling us that she's not afraid of bullying Z. It's all the same stuff. Can't you people see this? It's the same. It's all the same.
It's just power structures.
You hate Saudi. You hate the Saudi narrative because of 9/11. Yet you like China right now, I guess, because you're letting them steal everything and buy everything up in this.
Matt, it's the age of irony.
It is the age of irony, but that's why I bring it up, because it's so blatant, and I don't understand how people can't critical think that they're the same thing. Like if you hate Saudis, then I guess you should hate Chinese because they're stealing from you too. I mean, this is the point. They've been making goods cheaper than we could for the last 50 years, and you're paying for it today in inflation. So welcome to the money. Hey, let's come back to why you got to watch Hard Knocks this year, if nothing else, and why. I'm excited about the Lions. Really, Bob, I haven't been excited like this in a while.
We can't really hear it, but he's singing Billie Jean.
But look at the guys.
I know. As you go further here, they really get into it.
They're into it.
And he's a rookie, right? He's got to do his rookie thing.
First round draft. Yep. Richest guy in the room, basically.
Watch this, dude. It is great. It is great.
Right here.
Yeah.
Watch the guy in the back of the room here.
Lee says a white dude that can dance, dude, and he can rush the QB. That is so. I'm a Detroit Lion fan now.
Right?
For me, things like this can do that.
This is what I'm saying.
Especially in sports where all these people are making so much money.
This is what I'm saying. This is so unique. You have to. I don't know, Bob. You have to respect this, right? You have to respect.
I do. Matt, speaking of respect, let me do something here, and this is what you need to respect, Matt. And I'm going to shrink myself here, right? Look at that. Look at what technology can do. And I do that, Matt, simply because I did something last night for the first time. And man, was it awesome. Whoa, it's hot. Have you ever taken the sausages? Speaking of market and timing, like the sausages go on first the way I cook a steak because I like my steaks very rare. But then the steaks are underneath the spicy Italian sausage. And the spicy Italian sausage then are just dripping right on the steak. Listen, this is a hack from Manja TV. I needed to share it because I did it last night, and man, did it turn out spectacular. Those sausages look fantastic, by the way. Do they not?
They do.
Another little hack here too.
You know, and again, I'm feeling hurt because it looks like you had a lot of food there, and your fat ass did not need to eat all that.
Listen, here's another little hack for you people. When you have the mild and the hot Italian sausages, right? What you need to do is char one of them more so they're easily distinguishable on the plate. Now they're all fully cooked, but the hots were charred more.
Gotcha.
And the milds were just sitting there dripping on the steak, marinating, basically an in-fire marination process going on. And, that's what we're here for. We're here to tell you who you should root for, what you should trade, and how you should be cooking. Timing, Matt, timing is everything. And man, was that freaking good. Needed to share. All right, let's
talk a little bit about crude, because again, and all this talk about lower, inflation at 8.5%. Crude, was down this morning, and I was like, okay, that fits the narrative. The narrative's all nice and pretty. Well, lo and behold, once again, crude holds that lower level and is up again, Bob. So, do you have thoughts on it? You want to give us a monthly on that? We haven't looked at a monthly.
Yeah, we have not. And again, it's amazing too how we have. Speaking of timing, there's just little different places in the cycle that they are, right? So the monthly has been toying with this monthly average level at 89.83, and there's been a pretty good argument here. If they can take it out on the month, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't go test the opposite momentum level this month at 74.59, probably around $78 next month. And for me, the bull story stays in place as long as they can hold that low momentum level and keep the slope positive.
And
if those two things change,
I want to buy 75, please.
I know you do. I know you do.
We think 150 to 200 coming soon.
Off of 75.
Yes, off of 75.
Double up the catch up.
I would love to buy some calls down there. Please get it down there.
Bingy. All right. Let's just cover a couple of these other monthlies while we got them here. Again, you got to go to the continuation chart. Robert, stop sharing. NASDAQ, that monthly average 14,258. Dow Jones Industrial Average, that average 33,870. And the Russell, amazingly, 2,045 Russell. Those are all the levels here that I'm looking at on the monthly, that if you are a bear, on the longer term bear, the market really should reject those levels. And again,
burritos are up about 33% since the Chipotle earnings. 1,200 up here to almost 1,700. Yeah, more than 30%, almost 50%. Can you give us a monthly on Chipotle?
What is it? What is it called? I know I got it.
CMG.
Let me see if this will, here, this is the easiest way to do it, right?
And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but CMG in the future will stand for
crickets, maggots, and what? Grasshoppers.
Yes, exactly. You are.
I'm
good.
quick like that. I am quick.
You are good.
Chipotle is crickets, maggots, and grasshoppers available in your burrito.
Yes.
Pretty clean here, Matt. Like our forefathers, 1776 is the line in the sand for long-term bears here in Chipotle. 1776. That's the up momentum level that they need to recapture if you're a raging bull. Mm-hmm. And then, honest to God, if you're a raging bull, and this seems ridiculous, but let's just do the math. I mean, on the monthly, this being a flag, I don't know, 430 to 1900. So 1300 from 1200 goes to 2500 is your target.
If it gets over 1776.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
1776. That's how we do math here. Quick approximations of market potential.
How about give us an update on bonds through all this? So the bonds are net zero. They're
Let's
net
go
zero.
monthly.
They're flat for the day. Okay, they rallied actually off of the CPI number. They went higher because they should go. Rates should go lower, right? And now
because there's no inflation.
Now they've completely reversed to neutral for the day, and it's a huge move. It's a $2 move. We went from 144.04 all the way back to 142. That's today's. This
is telling too, Matt. And 142.13 is that monthly momentum level.
Yeah.
Obviously, we got a ton of time left in the month, but
yep.
The other thing that's important to me in this chart, right, is the potential available, a la John Bollinger, that outer band, 123.12, Matt, available on a standard deviation modeling, 123.12. I mean, that.
And I think the key thing here, Bob, the key part of your momentum structure is nothing has changed on those lines. Like none of them are curling at all, even though we've rallied. We've had this huge rally in bonds. And again, we've talked about it here already. Huge rally in bonds, but really nothing that hasn't changed the monthly chart. This is a good theme for today's show. Let's look at the long-term picture, because on a day like today, when everything just gaps up and doesn't go anywhere, it's hard to, like, there's really nothing to trade. And and by the way, if you came in long on the CPI on anything, please take profits, because you were, if you bought, especially if you bought yesterday, do not, this is nothing but a mechanical market. Everything is higher today, Bob. Everything.
And Matt, let's just refresh our memory on the potential of right sides. Let's go to our friend Peloton. A nice comeback here by Peloton here, though. Back to $12. $12. If you're sitting there holding the 140, 120 level, claw back to 12. I don't know. It's just interesting to see things that right-sided, to see grubs, Lee's saying grubs for CMG. I don't know. Grasshoppers seem more nutritious than grubs.
Yeah.
And grubs are more like maggots anyways. We already got the grubs covered.
Right.
Crickets, maggots, and grasshoppers.
But speaking of, there's always a bear market somewhere. Playboy apparently did not have a good earnings number again. Remember when this thing, let's talk about right sides here, because remember when this thing was going crazy? Remember when the CME, that stuff was ran to $62, and I said it would go back to $4. It's $4 today. It traded $4.80.
Lee, that was actually funny. It's a saggy chart.
Saggy, left breast, right breast.
There is zero penetration on higher levels.
But I suppose if you like the brand and you think that some sucker is going to come and buy the brand and make another website about Playboy, I guess you could, that's what everybody thought on the bottom here. They're like, holy shit, I better buy this thing. It's never been this cheap before. So, and then the other thing I thought was interesting today, on a day when everything was going green, GME and AMC are red today, Bob. They're red. Where are the animals? Where are the animal spirits? They're not playing the junk today. What's going on?
I don't know. I don't trade them.
AMC, GME to the tank. Remember, we talked about it just 2 days ago, sell them. And that worked out pretty good. I think you made about 40% on AMC, GME, probably 40% just by selling that day. And
hey, Matt, I know we talked about the dollar.
Rinse, repeat. Every time these things spike, just sell them. Just sell them.
Let's talk some of the individual legs of that dollar index on the monthly. EuroFX futures, again, bear market, man. Fully right-sided monthly. Looks like an hourly chart. Fully right-sided. 105.72 is the level on the monthly that they need to recapture and close above on a monthly basis to call the dogs off. Very interesting for me here that when you look at the individual legs, it actually looks more bearish than the dollar index looks to be rolling over. I don't know. I just wanted to point it out. And the yen, speaking of on the mat, holy crap, is this thing just been brutalized? 007741 in the yen to recapture monthly momentum. I just bring up a couple here. All right, man, what else we got? Anything else?
We got, again, watch Hard Knocks, get the inside skinny on what's going on with the Lions. Because I think that, no, I think it opens, I think that show starts airing on HBO today. So they've put out a couple clips. That's from Hard Knocks. So HBO Productions is in the Lions house, so to speak. So let's
Do they camp somewhere else, or do they practice right down at Ford Field?
No, they used to camp like around Dearborn. Totally different. Yeah. Although, now they're downtown too. So I don't know. I'm assuming they probably still stay in Dearborn. They like to, have those locations and use them. So yeah, they're over by the Ford World headquarters, since the Ford family owns them. So it's easy for them to go from designing EVs back to the football field, to EVs, to the football field, etc.
Right on.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, you shared this. I really chuckled. How much of a conspiracy theorist are you? Matt shared this, and he actually does think that Mother Teresa is Fauci. He's showed me plenty of rabbit holes that there's going to be a DNA documentary on this.
They're at least brother sister. They were twins. They were separated at birth.
Oh, and I got to tell you that I am most grateful that Matt is. It seems to me that we're getting back to normal post COVID and post woke. It seems to me, because ball busting is becoming great again.
Oh,
and that's what we need.
I do have. I can't believe you don't want to talk about this, because you're definitely in the bidding queue, right? So Michael Jordan's iconic red away Bulls jersey from Game 1, his sixth and final championship in '98, is up for sale. 3 to 5 million.
That is so ridiculous. So I mean,
and then I'm going to leave you with this, because I just can't take the headlines anymore.
Enough said. Matt, did we talk Marshawn Lynch?
Oh my gosh. Well, let's end with that. Let's end with
Marshawn. Because I got to tell you, I'm a giant.
It's only fun. It's only fun
that nobody got hurt.
Let's just say that, right?
For sure. And I am a huge Marshawn Lynch fan. I
loved
loved him as a player, and I loved him when they tried to bastardize him with the gun charges and that whole nonsense. It's got to be a decade ago now. And then his interview on 60 Minutes or wherever he had it, he was so just awesome, and talking about where he came from, and the odds of him doing anything from where he came from were so long. And man, talk about though. Do you have the picture of the car?
I do. TMZ, unfortunately, was out there. They rushed to the scene and in an area in Seattle. And look at this thing. He took, not only did it have the low pro tires, Bob.
I hate low profile tires, though, by the way. He probably just hit like a pothole to begin with.
He just flatten the tire. He hit the city streets and he just drilled this thing. And then look at that. Look at the rim just got shredded. Wow.
Anyway.
So, and then then he probably, he grabbed the football out of his back seat. You're right. It was the Cobra Mustang. And, but he grabbed the football out of the back seat and then made a run for it. Apparently, no, I'm kidding. That's not true.
Yeah, not true. Anyway, hope all is well with Marshawn, and that's it. That's what we got.
But you did make a comment that you didn't think he looked as drunk as he did.
Dude, he looks like I tweeted to Snoop Dogg. Did you supply him with the blunts? Let me be blunt. Let me be blunt. Holy smokes. No pun intended.
Yes.
All right, that's what we got. Please join us at marketvitals.io. Please share. Please retweet. I don't know our numbers, Matt. We go for it's confusing how we get 400, 800, 1,000 views, and then all of a sudden 80, 89 views. Is somebody watching? I don't know. Maybe that's how finicky.
Come on, Z. Come on, G.
Maybe that's how finicky the consuming. For sure, there's a lot of competition out there. People talking markets.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what we got. Please retweet though. Like it, okay. Retweet though. Like it, retweet though. That's what I got.
So you're saying retweet?
saying retweet. That's what we got. If you enjoy the content and take away something tradable, either profit taking or discipline on stops, that's what we aim to do. All right, man, I got to take this. I got to jump. Thank you.